Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte. This is the story of the four greatest conquerors in history and how their ambition became their downfall. Alexander the Great conquered more than 2 million square miles of land, yet he was never satisfied. He cared little for wealth or ruling. His obsession was conquest. For 10 years, he never lost a battle. Victory after victory made him seem invincible, even to himself, but his greatest challenge came in India. At the Battle of the Hydaspes, he faced King Porus and suffered heavy losses. His beloved horse was killed. Alexander himself was wounded. Worse still, across the river stood another massive Indian army, fresh and ready for battle. For the first time, his exhausted soldiers refused to march further. Alexander was forced to turn back. Soon after, weakened by illness and heavy drinking, he collapsed. On his deathbed, his generals asked who should inherit his empire. His answer was simple: "To the strongest." Those 3 words plunged his empire into decades of brutal civil war and shattered everything he had built. Ancient historians claimed Alexander's body did not decay for 6 days after his death, believing it proved he was divine. Modern scientists suggest something more disturbing. He may not have been dead at all. A neurological condition could have left him paralyzed but conscious, meaning it is very possible that Alexander heard the plots of his men before he was buried alive. Next, we have the fanboy of Alexander Gaius, Julius Caesar. While Alexander wept because he had no more worlds to conquer, Caesar is reported to have burst into tears while he was reading the exploits of Alexander. He said to his men, "When he was of my age, he had conquered Darius. But up to now, nothing has been accomplished by me." Just as he looked up to Alexander, he turned out just like him, self-obsessed and narcissistic. Once he had gained significant power as a general and statesman, he undermined the Roman Republican system and declared himself dictator perpetuo, dictator in perpetuity. He wasn't shy about it, as he is reported to have said, "If you must break the law, do it to seize power. In all other cases, observe it." Senators in Rome feared Caesar wanted to establish monarchy, which would completely erode away their authority. On March 1544 BC, a group of 60 senators assassinated Caesar at the meeting of the Senate. Collectively, the group stabbed him 23 times to show how much they all loved him. The last thing Caesar saw was his own adopted son and trusted ally, Marcus Brutus, present among the assailants. And his last words were, "You too, Brutus?" The next person takes us to the medieval era. Genghis Khan, who emerged as the Beast of the East, managed to conquer twice as much land as Alexander, and was determined to bring the whole world under one sword. But unlike Alexander or Caesar, he did not see himself as divine or Messiah. He knew he was a tyrant and boasted openly about it. In this world, the greatest happiness is to scatter your enemy, to drive him before you, to see his cities reduced to ashes, to see those who love him shrouded in tears, and to gather into your bosom his wives and daughters. There are several accounts of his death. A popular historian wrote, he fell victim to the bubonic plague, while another famous Italian traveler wrote that he was shot on a horseback and succumbed to his wounds a few days later. Another report says he was castrated fatally by a princess of the Western Shia Empire, whom he had kept forcibly as a concubine. The reason his death is not well documented as other conquerors is because it was meant to be a secret. Before his death, Khan instructed his family and followers to keep his death a secret, as it occurred at the worst possible time. The Mongols were at the vital stage of their 20-year long-desired conquest of the Western Shia Empire. That conquest was more important for the dying Genghis Khan than his own grand funeral. Khan's followers slaughtered everyone on the route where his funeral procession was carried to keep it a secret. Napoleon Bonaparte rose about 5 centuries later, during an age of cannons and empires. He was a military genius who saw war as art. Although he became emperor in the name of defending revolutionary France, one can see his ambitions carried him far beyond. His personality was probably even more bizarre than the rest of the great conquerors. Caesar considered himself to be the only Messiah to his people. Alexander thought himself to be a god. Genghis was a tyrant, while Napoleon considered himself an artist of war. He is reported to have said, "I love power, but it is as an artist that I love it." To him, the battlefield was a painting, and he was an artist drawing it. His power of concentration was enormous. He memorized the positions of entire armies and visualized complex campaigns entirely in his mind. He swept victories throughout parts of Europe and the Mediterranean region. Eventually, he was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 and was captured by the British forces. He was not sentenced to death since the British did not want him to die as a martyr instead. They house arrested him with a few of his followers in a bungalow. He lived the rest of his life in constant denial of his circumstances. When he held a dinner party, men were expected to wear military dress and women appeared in evening gowns. He wanted to feel like he was still ruling. Years of isolation and loneliness took a toll on him, and he finally kicked the bucket on the 5th of May, 1821, making his last confession. France, the army, Josephine. He basically expressed everything dear to him: his country, his military career, and his wife Josephine. This was the end of the 4 great conquerors. One of them died due to sudden illness, another died in trade by his own men. An arrow took the better of Genghis Khan, while Napoleon died in exile. Different lives, different endings. One shared fate. None of them were ever satisfied.